Clan Desilijic. Clan Desilijic was one of the most prominent and enduring power blocks among the Hutts. Known largely through figures like Jabba the Hutt, Desilijic's roots ran far deeper into the obscure, myth-heavy past of Hutt history. The clan was considered one of the clans of the ancients, with origins tracing back to the forgotten world of Val well before the Hutt cataclysms. In early accounts, Desilijic was portrayed as a warrior clan participating in legendary conflicts. But like much of Hutt prehistory, it's difficult to separate historical record from later mythologizing. During the cataclysms, Desilijic suffered major losses. Various enemy clans reportedly coordinated attacks as revenge for past grievances. In the aftermath, the Desilijics were among the earliest to adopt Kajidic philosophy, which called for the Hutt clans to compete economically rather than through clan wars. The clan's base was Core Desilijic, a throne world located in the Butana Hutta. This planet functioned as both sanctuary and treasury, housing vast reserves of wealth, heirlooms, and secured estate compounds. The terrain was characterized by swamps and mountain valleys, with older estates such as the Razmal Valley Palace maintaining symbolic and strategic importance. This particular site was named after Razmal Desilijic Bunsek, the Hutt credited with securing the planet for his clan. Clan Desilijic's influence was wide. The clan operated across Nal Hutta, Nar Shaddaa, Tatooine, and several other locations. While it maintained legitimate business fronts, mainly in transportation logistics and resource extraction, its criminal activities were expansive: spice smuggling, slavery, kidnapping, extortion, and more. Their most famous member was Jabba Desilic Tior, whose control was considered direct and forceful, with many describing his leadership as unpredictable or emotional. Still, his authority within the clan was largely uncontested. Jabba and his nephew Gorga occupied 2 seats on the Hutt ruling council, granting the Desilijics disproportionate political leverage. Jabba has even represented the Hutt clans as a whole in negotiations with the Republic, underlining the weight his clan carries. Tensions with other clans persist. Desilijic's rivalry with Clan Vosadii resulted in espionage, targeted assassinations, and territorial competition, particularly surrounding spice production and distribution. The Desilijics adhered to the traditional Kajidic values of self-preservation, wealth accumulation, and dominance. Its methods ranged from bureaucratic manipulation to covert violence, but its guiding principles remained consistent: maintain control, outmaneuver rivals, and protect clan interests above all. Clan Besadii. The Besadii were one of the most powerful yet politically unstable Hutt clans. As a clan of the ancients, it endured for millennia through secrecy, internal loyalty, and a willingness to adapt. Though often forced out of the Hutt ruling council, its absence rarely lasted long. Clan Besadii fully embraced Kajidic philosophy, but prioritized its own survival and profit over broader clan unity. Strategic betrayal was part of its playbook, and ambition defined its leadership style. Among the Hutts, Clan Besadii was known for being especially self-serving. Its throne world, Core Besadii, was a swamp-covered planet naturally suited to Hutt biology. Ancient estates were maintained by enslaved laborers under harsh conditions. Gurkor's Retreat, a sprawling palace built across 100 swamp islands, was among the clan's more notable holdings. The Besadii's operations were based on Nal Hutta, with reach extending to Nar Shaddaa, Ryloth, Socorro, and Elysia. It ran both legitimate businesses such as passenger star lines and warehousing, and criminal networks focused on hard spice production, smuggling, and slave trafficking. The clan's imperial-era prominence came from a covert spice operation on Elysia, which temporarily gave it significant control over the spice trade. But this triggered retaliation. The rival Desilijic clan arranged the assassination of Uruk the Hutt, the Besadii's leader at the time. His successor, Durga Besadii Tai, responded by killing Clan Desilijic member Anjiliac the Hutt in ritual combat, escalating tensions between the two clans. Durga's position was complicated by his involvement with the Black Sun Syndicate, a rival of the Hutt Cartel. While this alliance expanded his reach, it also isolated the Besadii politically. The Hutt Council, particularly the Desilijic, actively blocked the clan's attempts to reclaim a seat, citing fears over Black Sun's influence. Despite these setbacks, the Besadii remained a durable force in Hutt politics. It survived through calculated risk, internal discipline, and a philosophy rooted in dominance, secrecy, and self-preservation. Clan Qunaalac. The Qunaalac was one of the most militarized Hutt clans. It controlled roughly a third of Hutt warships tasked with defending the Butana Hutta, and historically used this position to secure influence both within the Hutt ruling council and across key regions of Hutt space. Though aggressive in posture, the clan typically avoided open conflict with other Hutts, aware that military threats were often countered with economic retaliations or coalitions of rival kajidics. A clan of the ancients, Qunaalac was widely believed to preserve more of the old Hutt warrior tradition than most clans. Stories from its early history recount battles with figures like Zim the Despot, and Qunaalac fleets were among the few to survive the Hutt cataclysms with substantial strength. Even so, the clan was eventually forced to adopt kajidic structures, integrating them with its own militaristic customs. Qunaalac's throne world, Kor Qunaalac, was heavily fortified. Its geography, naturally defensible but inhospitable, was reshaped through extensive engineering to better suit Hutt habitation. Notable among its holdings was Fort Dandunk, a heavily protected estate surrounded by artificial reservoirs and used to store war trophies, treasure, and clan archives. The clan's influence extended across Nal Hutta, Nar Shaddaa, Kos Hutta, Mulatan, Slaheron, Ryloth, and Teth. Its legitimate ventures centered on heavy industry, construction, and defense logistics. Criminal operations included piracy, counterfeit goods, gambling, and protection rackets. Qunaalac operated a complex fleet structure, with warships commanded by various powerful clan lords, each semi-autonomous and often requiring internal negotiation to coordinate large-scale operations. While capable of mounting considerable force, the clan avoided direct confrontations with the Galactic Empire, recognizing the limits of its power. In Hutt politics, the Qunaalac held its council seat largely due to its military power, but also through strategic alliances, often with the Desilijic or the Gorensla, and rarely with the Besadii, whom it viewed with caution. Clan Gorensla. The Gorensla Kajidic was the dominant Hutt clan in galactic black market logistics. Specializing in the shipment of both legal and illegal goods, Gorensla operated massive smuggling networks with a unique strategy, acquiring products near their intended market to minimize transport risk. This localized sourcing, paired with manipulation of laws and bureaucracy, allowed the clan to move contraband while appearing legitimate. Gorensla's expertise dates back to the Hutt Empire's wars with Zim the Despot. Clan Gorensla's armed freighters supplied Hutt forces with weapons during the Hutt's early conquests, and the clan quickly adapted to the post-cataclysm Kajidic system. Over time, it expanded beyond Hutt space, gaining influence on Nar Shaddaa, Slaheron, Terminus, and beyond. Its throne world, Kor Gorensla, a gas giant with moon-based estates, housed ancient vaults and collection caches used as financial reserves and leverage. The clan's profitability hinged on open hyperspace routes. During the Clone Wars, it thrived by selling to all factions. It also exploited imperial legal systems to access emerging black markets, even supplying resistance cells like the Rebel Alliance through layers of front companies. Gorensla remained a fixture on the Hutt ruling council well into the Galactic Civil War. Its leaders favored profit over loyalty and rarely acted out of principle. The clan avoided overt conflict but was quick to monopolize vulnerable ports and crush competition through manipulation and quiet coercion. Among the clans, Gorensla was respected for mastery of the invisible systems that power the underworld. Clan Anjiliac. The Anjiliac were a relatively young but influential Hutt clan. Though it couldn't trace its lineage back to Val and wasn't recognized as a clan of the ancients, Clan Anjiliac held considerable power, particularly on Nar Shaddaa, where it rose to become one of the dominant kajidics. During its rise, the clan became known for its relative stability and deliberate expansion. This era of growth was marked by the leadership of Papara the Hutt, who pursued a more moderate approach than many of his peers. Under his direction, the Anjiliac absorbed the remnants of the Geetsly Kajidic, taking control of its holdings and throne world. Geetsly's only known survivor, Vargo, was incorporated into Anjiliac operations. The Anjiliac's territory came to include Core Anjiliac and the former Geetsly throne world, Core Geetsly. Its spheres of influence extended across Nar Shaddaa, Ryloth, Diu, Point Nadir, and portions of the corporate sector. The clan's legitimate businesses included warehousing, shipping, distribution, and mineral speculation. Simultaneously, it remained active in criminal ventures, most notably smuggling, protection rackets, soft spice trade, and, historically, slave trafficking. Papara initiated efforts to eliminate slave operations and hard spice from the clan's dealings, though resistance from within slowed implementation. Much of the clan's remaining illicit activity during the Imperial era was concentrated at Point Nadir, a shadow point built into a comet, difficult to regulate or control. The Anjiliac employed mercenaries for enforcement, including the Bomu Rhodian clan. Its methods aligned with broader Hutt practices, acquisitions, piracy, and underworld logistics, but it stood apart in its efforts to move toward a more sustainable and politically tolerable model. Despite its non-ancient status, the Anjiliac secured respect within Hutt space and, in some circles, fear. Clan Bareesh. The Bareesh were an ancient Hutt clan with a long but troubled history. Once a powerful Kajidic, its fortunes declined sharply following the catastrophic eruption of a supervolcano on its throne world, Core Bareesh. Much of the planet's main continent, including key vaults and estates, was buried in ash and lava. The resulting losses in wealth, infrastructure, and leadership left the clan severely weakened. Despite this, Clan Bareesh remained active. It still held estates on Nal Hutta and maintained a presence on Nar Shaddaa, Slaheron, and Droxu. Its operations included both legal activities, such as salvage shipping and weapons sales, and large-scale criminal ventures like contraband running and trafficking. The Bareesh made repeated efforts to reclaim their lost influence. Key figures in the clan repeatedly attempted to insert themselves into high-level Hutt politics, often provoking frustration from more dominant Kajidics. On Core Bareesh, the clan's leaders attempted large-scale expeditions to excavate buried vaults and estates. These missions, staffed by slaves and hide specialists, sought to recover ancestral wealth and artifacts, but most failed due to the planet's harsh atmosphere and unstable terrain. While Clan Bareesh no longer held the influence it once had, its leaders remained determined. The clan continued to operate from the shadows of its ruined throne world, aiming to rebuild what was lost and re-establish itself among the dominant powers of Hutt space. Clan Jiramma. The Jiramma was a long-standing Kajidic that established itself on Nar Shaddaa and expanded its influence by exploiting the former separatist worlds destroyed by the end of the Clone Wars. It was considered a clan of the ancients and held a throne world at Core Jiramma. Throughout its history, Clan Jiramma operated at the intersection of legitimate business and covert political dealings. The clan's commercial ventures included electronics, gemstones, and distribution of imperial supplies. However, its criminal portfolio was extensive, ranging from smuggling and slave trafficking to illegal arrangements with corrupt imperial officials. Some of these operations were sanctioned by the Empire, while others functioned in secrecy under unofficial protection. Jiramma's close ties to imperial authorities allowed it to maneuver with unusual impunity, often buying influence at multiple levels, including among high-ranking Moffs. Its long-standing partnership with the Vanderijar clan further expanded its reach, particularly in non-imperial ventures. Though not always prominent in galactic headlines, Jiramma exemplified a calculated and politically embedded Kajidic, one that preferred strategic positioning over overt power plays. Clan Illip. The Illip was a lesser-known Kajidic brought to prominence through the unusual role of Dr. Juvad Illip Ogorob, a Hutt scientist active during the Galactic War. Ogorob was a rare figure in Hutt society, preferring research and technological innovation over crime or politics. Originally aligned with the Hutt Cartel, he was brought in to assist with the invasion of Markeb. However, after deeming the operation's leadership unstable, he defected to the Galactic Republic. This defection temporarily aligned Clan Illip with Republic interests. Following the cartel's defeat on Markeb, Ogurub even served as a liaison between the Hutts and the Republic. Though the Illip clan itself remained quiet in major Hutt politics, Ogurub's actions granted it a brief significance in galactic affairs, collaborating with the Republic during a time of open conflict. Clan Fa'athra. Clan Fa'athra was a breakaway Kajidic that rejected elements of Kajidic philosophy during the Cold War. Centered on Nal Hutta, the clan rose to attention under Vuntara Fa'athra, a Hutt who claimed to embody ancient traditions of dominance through strength. He defied the prevailing cartel system and launched a direct territorial challenge against the rival Nemro Kajidic. This gang war disrupted operations on Nal Hutta and drew outside attention, including from the Sith Empire. Fa'athra's refusal to negotiate or conform marked him as a rogue actor within Hutt society. His downfall came quickly, undone by overreach, lack of support from other clans, and direct interference by a Sith agent. With Vuntara's defeats, the Fa'athra clan collapsed as a viable political entity. Its brief insurgency serves as a historical example of how internal rebellion against cartel order tends to end in ruin, particularly when not backed by broader clan alliances or external power. Clan Faljozic. The Faljozic was one of 5 dominant Hutt clans operating on Tatooine in the years before Jabba Desilijic Tior consolidated control, although its throne world was the nearby planet B Forun. It was the newest of the 5, but quickly established itself by securing undisputed control over all off-world shipping. The clan also shared authority over the planet's arms and slave trade with the Vosadii. Despite its rapid rise, Faljozic's influence was short-lived. As Jabba expanded his operations, rival clans, including the Faljozic, were pushed out or absorbed. By the time Jabba solidified dominance over Tatooine's underworld, the Faljozic vanished from relevance, its holdings folded into the expanding reach of the Desilijic Empire. Clan Gnuda. The Gnuda was a lesser-known Hutt Kajidic that maintained a luxurious estate on the desert world of Matuo, located in the Anuat sector. While it's unclear whether the clan was based there permanently, records suggest it exercised regional influence through wealth and patronage. Though not among the ruling Kajidics of Nal Hutta, Gnuda maintained a footprint in Outer Rim affairs, and they were the patron for the privateer Sidon Ithano. While rarely involved in wider cartel politics, the Gnuda exemplified the autonomy of mid-tier Hutt families operating beyond central oversight. The Shell Hutts. The Shell Hutts were a rarity among the Hutts, the only known clan that continued to uphold the old pre-Hutt Cataclysm warrior codes instead of adopting Kajidic philosophy. Isolated for millennia on the high-gravity world of Circumtor, these Hutts wore armored shells of Durasteel which covered them from head to tail. Shell Hutts used repulsor lifts built into these armored shells to move, which allowed them to grow to immense sizes without losing mobility. Despite the overeating this encouraged, the Shell Hutts were still warriors, and they were widely feared. Their society was stratified, militarized, and isolationist. Like most clans, the Shell Hutts were adept at racketeering, bribery, and espionage, but they also relied on force more than the others did. Fortunately for the other Hutt clans, the Shell Hutts were extremely isolationist, keeping to their holdings on Circumtor and Nar Kaga. While they were originally more aggressive, the Shell Hutts withdrew to Circumtor and turned inward after the Hutt Cataclysms. However, they remained politically active, occasionally sending emissaries or making bids to rejoin broader Hutt affairs. Their philosophy favors hard power over manipulation. They were less inclined to defer to the Grand Council and often operated independently of cartel norms. Circumtor remained a closed, fortified world. Outsiders were rarely welcomed, and few non-Shell Hutts witnessed their society firsthand. Those who did described it as rigid, xenophobic, and steeped in ancient tradition. Among the Hutt Kajidics, the Shell Hutts were both feared and distrusted, a symbol of what Hutts had once been before their change in philosophy. Clan Vanderijar. Clan Vanderijar was a militant Kajidic known for arms smuggling, piracy, and open defiance of galactic authorities. Its forces frequently violated imperial blockades, prompting retaliatory strikes and mounting bounties on its leadership. Despite their outlaw profile, the Vanderijar maintained a seat on the Hutt ruling council during the Galactic Civil War. The clan's throne world, Core Vanderijar, lay near Jiramma-controlled space. The two clans shared a long-standing partnership, especially in illicit arms distribution. Jiramma's political shielding allowed Vanderijar to remain aggressive without complete isolation. Vanderijar operated across Teth, Lunik, and Socorro, using a mix of criminal and legal fronts, swoop sales, gambling, and shield tech among them. It thrived on action, confrontation, and risk, favoring bold raids over long negotiations. Though its tactics were criticized by more conservative Kajidics, Vanderijar persisted. Its philosophy prized audacity over caution, maintaining relevance through disruption rather than diplomacy. As imperial pressure mounted, the clan walked a narrow line, balancing rebellion with survival. Clan Jahibakti. The Jahibakti was one of the 5 dominant Kajidics operating on Tatooine prior to the rise of Jabba Desilijic Tior. As Desilijic influence expanded, Jahibakti holdings were absorbed or eliminated. Yet, the name endured. Hutts bearing the Jahibakti Cuevas remained active in the galactic underworld, and remnants of the clan still endured on their Arcana sector homeworld, Afarun, which the remaining Jahibakti ran through Yak-Tosh proxies. Clan Vosadii. The Vosadii Kajidic was an ancient and influential Hutt clan, long known for its involvement in the galactic tech industry. Although less flamboyant than some rivals, Vosadii built a reputation for stability, discretion, and a steady accumulation of wealth and influence. Its operations stretched from the inner rim to Hutt space, often tied to industrial hubs and logistical centers. The clan's stronghold was the Vosadii Techno Palace on Slaheron, an industrial world deep in Hutt space where the clan's ruler, Selros the Hutt, lived. Vosadii's members were known for investing in infrastructure, starship production, and the legitimate spice trade, often under corporate covers. This allowed the clan to maintain a veneer of legitimacy while still coordinating smuggling rings and bribery. But none of these were Clan Vosadii's real claim to fame. The Vosadii were technically minded, and they specialized in buying up, customizing, and reselling used computers, electronics, and starships. The Vosadii had excellent technicians, and their refurbished ships and computers were high quality. The clan sold starships to individuals and shipyards across the Outer Rim, and they sold custom-made computers to mercenary groups, corporations, and remote star systems. These products were sold legally and for good prices, but they came with a catch. Vosadii technicians inserted backdoors into the computer systems of their products, which the clan used to collect vast amounts of data. The Vosadii used this data for insider trading, targeted sales, or industrial espionage, and the clan's vast data hoards gave it incredible power over corporations, other cartels, and even governments. While not the largest Kajidic, Clan Vosadii was regarded as one of the most disciplined. The clan preferred methodical expansion over rapid, high-risk plays, and historically avoided direct challenges to the Grand Council's authority. In political terms, Vosadii was a stabilizer, quietly powerful, yet rarely provocative. Clan Inijic. The Inijic clan was remembered as the bloodline of Cossack Inijic Arderv, one of the most revered Hutts in galactic history. During the Zim Wars, more than 25,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, Cossack united the Hutt clans and led them to victory against Zim the Despot at the Battle of Vontor. Known as the Devourer of Despots, Cossack used Zim's own military strategies against him, and he triumphed over the Despot in the Third Battle of Vontor. This great victory was made possible by the Treaty of Vontor, through which Cossack convinced the Vodrans, Nikto, and Klatunians to agree to eternal slavery as a species in exchange for Hutt protection. Though little was recorded of the clan's activities after Cossack's time, the Inijic legacy became a source of pride across Hutt space. It symbolized an era when military force and interspecies alliances elevated a Hutt Kajidic to near mythic status, setting the precedent for organized Hutt power long before the Cartel era. Clan Hestilic. The Hestilic Kajidic was credited with shaping the foundations of modern Hutt society. Following the destruction of Val and the resettlement of the Hutts on Nalhutta around 15,000 BBY, Burhila Hestilic Amura emerged as a reformer. He established the Kajidic system, formalizing the clan-based structure that defined Hutt politics in the modern era and created the first council of elders to oversee it. Burhila's reforms gave rise to the Hutt Grand Council and solidified the model of interclan governance. The Hestilic philosophy emphasized structured rule and long-term cooperation between Kajidics as opposed to unchecked warfare. Though the clan itself didn't maintain a high profile in later galactic history, its ideological legacy was foundational. Every modern Kajidic owed part of its existence to Hestilic innovation, making the clan one of the most influential, if quietly so, in Hutt cultural and political development. Clan Kajidier. The Kajidier was an ancient Kajidic with a niche specialization in Hutt history. The large-scale recruitment and deployment of mercenaries and security personnel. Best known for its operations on Gamor, Kajidier maintained long-standing agreements with local warlords to supply Gamorrean males for service as guards across Hutt space. These arrangements were often exploitative, with Gamorrean clans often offloading their least desirable members, contributing to the stereotype of Gamorrean guards as brutish and dull. However, Kajidier's reach extended far beyond Gamor. It sourced in forces from multiple worlds, including Kamor, Sakar, Ulmatra, and Sirvis, and tailored its services to client needs. Some Kajidier units were crude muscle, while others were elite operators. Their legit business included droid manufacturing, foodstuffs, and bodyguard contracting. Illegally, it trafficked in slaves, spy smuggling, and theft. The clan was also known to embed its operatives within client systems, later robbing or sabotaging them to turn a profit or settle debts. Unlike more politically dominant clans, Kajidier rarely claimed council seats. Instead, it thrived in the background, profiting from the needs of other clans. Its role as a supplier of force, whether for protection or intimidation, gave it quiet influence across Hutt space. Clan Vermilic. The Vermilic clan was a relatively young Hutt clan, formed only a few thousand years before the rise of the Empire, and it was known for challenging traditional Hutt norms. Its members often disregarded long-standing Hutt commerce laws and operated far from the traditional seats of cartel power. Clan Vermilic favored unconventional industries and schemes, especially those that exploited overlooked or seemingly mundane sectors. The clan's base was a floating palace on Carnovia, a world best known for eel farming. The Vermilic turned this niche into a large-scale enterprise, cultivating Carnovian eels as delicacies for elite Hutt clientele. The operation relied on slave labor, both for farming and for the production of counterfeit foodstuffs. Cheap imitations of in-demand products distributed through shadow markets beyond Hutt space. The Vermilic also trafficked in soft spice and slaves, but its real edge lay in exploiting the food industry through criminal means. Scientists from subjugated species were kidnapped and forced to refine formulas in underwater laboratories. These specialists were kept in deep-water dungeons beneath the clan's lake-bound estate. Though not recognized as a clan of the ancients, the Vermilic has carved out spheres of influence on Abrogado Ray, Toidaria, Sirvis, and Dalung. The clan's trajectory reflected its philosophy, opportunistic, defiant, and rooted in practical exploitation over ceremonial tradition. Clan Odominic. The Odominic Kajidic was an influential Hutt clan during the Old Republic era, primarily known for its arms trafficking and deep involvement in off-world conflicts. Its most notorious operation occurred around 4225 BBY, when Odominic agents were discovered supplying weapons to both sides of a gang war on the planet Carkilius. The clan's orchestration of this conflict effectively turned the capital into a proxy battlefield, destabilizing the region for profit. This maneuver backfired. The Republic Senate classified the situation as a galactic security threat and dispatched Jedi-led forces to intervene. The resulting campaign, known as the Kakeli Reconquista, crushed the Odominic-backed factions and ended the clan's control over the planet. It remains one of the clearest examples of the Republic directly curtailing a Hutt Kajidics expansion outside Hutt space. Despite the loss, the Odominic name persisted in criminal networks. Its legacy was that of opportunism and high-risk interventionism, leveraging external wars to expand influence regardless of long-term consequences. Odominic's methods remain a cautionary tale within Hutt society. Bold enough to carve out temporary empires, but reckless enough to invite galactic backlash. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed that overview of all the different Hutt clans, and make sure you let us know in the comments section below which of these clans was your favorite and why. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.